very difficult for me to believe that Tucker is merely anti-Israel when, for example, today, in his newsletter, I mean, I can directly quote it if you'd like, in his newsletter today, he claimed that Zoran Mamdani is not anti-Semitic. This was his newsletter today, this morning. I mean, I'm happy to read the text. It's a little extraordinary because, again, it is kind of shocking stuff.
So yesterday, Ben Shapiro stated that it was shocking that Tucker Carlson does not think New York City Mayor Mamdani is anti-Semitic. Shapiro and Carlson have feuded for years, but after Carlson interviewed Nick Fuentes, their bickering has turned into an all-out war. I mean, this is getting bloody. Shapiro even spoke to CNN's Jake Tapper about Tucker Carlson. Here's that clip.
Doing the right thing by pointing out the obvious, which is that if somebody glosses Nazis on the air, that person probably should not be associated with a conservative think tank, and that everyone should have a duty to say that that is a bad thing to do. So I'm grateful to Kevin for doing that. I think it's a very good thing that he did that. The real issue here is I think that Tucker Carlson's morphing from, I would say, a very edgy right-wing political figure on Fox News, but certainly within the mainstream, into a conspiracist, a person who ideologically launders anti-Semitism, who ideologically launders all sorts of anti-Americanism on his show, and then airs it for the public to hear. The sort of mainstreaming, the popularization and normalization of Fuentes by Carlson is significantly more important than just Fuentes' existence, obviously.
Okay, now later in the clip, we want to warn you, this is why you go out and you watch stuff for yourself and don't have people interpret it for you. Because Tapper completely misrepresented the actual substance of Carlson's interview. Look at this.
Your problem isn't so much that Tucker Carlson had Fuentes on his show, but that he didn't push back at all on the neo-Nazi, anti-Semitic, pro-Joseph Stalin rhetoric, etc.
And so it's that part. Tucker Carlson did push back on Fuentes' anti-Semitic remarks. We've shown you those clips several times now. As for Ben Shapiro, take a look at this post from 2015. Let's see what he thought about a different right-winger who made anti-Semitic remarks. Oh. And Coulter tweets, Jews awful nonsensical, and Coulter is also super pro-Israel and has always been, so I won't lose sleep. The double standard, or maybe, I don't know, this is like a couple of different factions going on, is rich. How do we reconcile this, Cenk?
Yeah, okay, so let's first start with Ben Shapiro saying, can you believe Tucker Carlson said that Mamdani is not an anti-Semite? When I've already called him an anti-Semite and everyone else in the Israeli lobby has called him an anti-Semite. Has Mamdani ever said anything that's anti-Semitic? No, you have him on record. They wanted him to apologize for things he didn't say because they couldn't find anything he said that was actually anti-Semitic. You know why? Because Mamdani's not an anti-Semite. And by the way, backed by tons of rabbis and Jewish religious leaders and Jewish voters, right? But he says it like, well, since the Israeli lobby has already declared him an anti-Semite, can you believe that Tucker Carlson is defying the Israeli lobby? Well, I mean, how many stars do you want me to give him? How much credit do you want me to give him? So yeah, Tucker's totally right, and Ben Shapiro's an enormous liar. That's trying to smear a Muslim guy because he hates Muslims, and most importantly, because Mamdani will not bow his head to Ben Shapiro's beloved real country, which is Israel, and everybody knows that, Ben. You think you're gonna trick us? Okay, so, and that's why we had that old tweet there, because boy is that telling, where he says, no, Coulter is an anti-Semite, but I don't care, because she's pro-Israel. I mean, that is perfect. That's telling on yourself. And that's exactly what we've been saying, guys. We're actually the guys fighting against actual anti-Semitism. We want to protect Jewish Americans. And these guys are like, who cares? Who cares? Jewish Americans are to hide behind for beloved Israel. You can be anti-Semitic all you want. By the way, you're saying, oh, well, Cenk, that's kind of an exaggeration, right? Is it? Wait, hold on. That same Nick Fuentes, anyone who talks to Nick Fuentes must be canceled. Ben Shapiro just said it. You heard him say it. Donald Trump talked to Nick Fuentes. In fact, he had dinner with him. In fact, he had dinner with him with the other guy in the country known as the second biggest or the first biggest anti-Semite, Kanye West. He had dinner with the two biggest anti-Semites in the country, and no criticism, no cancellation. Why? because Trump is pro-Israel. This isn't about protecting Jewish Americans. This is about protecting Israel. So thank you for the confession. We appreciate it, okay? Now, to go to defying not just Ben Shapiro, but proving Jake Tapper wrong. And it is, I mean, to say it's shoddy journalism is doing Jake a favor, right? It's no journalism. Did you watch the interview? He said that Tucker Carlson did not push back on Nick Fuentes at all. You saw it with your own eyes. Now, let's see if he did. Let's go to the E7 here.
My Christian faith tells me that there's no such thing as blood guilt, and virtue or sin is not inherited. It's not a feature of DNA. So every person must be assessed individually as God assesses each person individually. And that's like a foundational view. So I always thought it's great to criticize and it's question like our relationship with Israel because it's insane and it hurts us. We get nothing out of it. I completely agree with you there. But the second you're like, well, actually it's the Jews. First of all, it's against my Christian faith. Like I just don't believe that and I never will, period. And second, then it becomes a way to discredit. That's when I was like, this guy's a Fed. What I do think is bad, just objectively bad and destructive is the all Jews are guilty or all anybody is guilty of anything. Because that's just like not true. And we don't believe that as Christians.
So who's the liar? Is it Tucker Carlson or is it Jake Tapper? Because we just saw it on tape. Tucker Carlson pushed back by saying it is a foundational view of his that you cannot judge people based on their religion. That is why anti-Semitism is wrong. He said that it goes against the core principles of his Christian faith. But Jake Tapper lied to his entire audience and said, no, Tucker Carlson did not push back and agreed with the anti-Semitism. That is a flat out lie. Why? Jake Tapper loves Israel, Ben Shapiro loves Israel, and then Ben Shapiro has the audacity to say that Tucker Carlson was anti-American. Brother, we're on to you, we're on to you. Look, you have this whole thing where corporate media goes around kissing Israel's ass. Oh, don't worry about it, I'm not gonna call it a genocide. No cable news anchor has called it a genocide. Not even on MSNBC. No, shh. No one has said, hey, what the hell did we give this government $30 billion for in the middle of a genocide? Imagine if in the middle of the Rwandan genocide, we're like, oh, nice job, way to hack those people to death. Here's $30 billion. But no, it's Israel, you can't say that. No, remember, the Muslims are the terrorists. The Muslims are the bad guys, says Jake Tapper and Ben Shapiro and every Israeli supporter in corporate media and in politics. They smear all Muslims and then they turn around and have the audacity to go, oh, you've been anti-Semitic. No, brother, you're the one that is saying, no, don't talk about how AIPAC and the Israeli lobby give money to 90% of Congress. So Jake, let me ask you something. Did the Israeli lobby give money to 90% of Congress? And does that 90% vote with Israel 100% of the time? You can't say it. If you say facts, you're an anti-Semite. No, this has nothing to do with anti-Semitism. This has everything to do with protecting their beloved Israel. Now look, Jake's a more complicated character than Ben Shapiro. Shapiro is pure Israel first, doesn't care about America. In fact, there's a clip of him saying like, well, Israel's the most, Israel exists and Israel's great and so if anything goes wrong in America, I'll go to Israel anyway, right? All right, brother. You're anti-American, you don't believe in America. You just want to come here to take as much of our money and funnel it over to the country you actually love, which is Israel. And by the way, this isn't about just it's about Jews, no. Look, every new immigrant community, and the Jewish community is a little bit different, it's a little bit more complicated because they've been here longer, but usually every immigrant community comes in and has some feeling of affection for their homeland. And so if the Polish or the Turkish or the Armenian community or any community would they redirect some of our money in terms of aid to their country of origin? If they could, they might, right? And that doesn't make them evil or bad or anything like that. But on the other hand, we shouldn't allow it. right? If Turks had this tremendous power and we said, no, you have to give money to you owe Turkey. You owe Turkey. And if you say anything against that, you're anti-Turkish. Your life should be ruined. You should be canceled. You should be this, you should be that. Again, Jake Tapper is more subtle. He doesn't say what I said earlier in a hyperbolic way where he says, I hate all Muslims and you should hate all Muslims. But instead, he's minimizes a grotesque genocide where 70,000 people were murdered, including 20,000 kids, and he doesn't ever allow anyone to question whether we should keep sending money to Israel, because in his mind, no, we owe Israel. You're all anti-Semites. You better not question that. And I'm sick of it. We're all sick of it. Good news, Sharon. It's not just us. Now the right wing, everybody's getting caught online. So Israel got caught, and nobody's buying their crap anymore. Everybody knows Ben Shapiro's working for Israel. Everybody knows all these guys, Mark Levin, he doesn't care about America. He only cares about Israel. Everybody knows that. And so now you can, Tucker is against America. And since he is not kissing Israel's ass, he's an anti-Semite, even though he says the exact opposite. Smear him, let's all smear him. And hey, Jake, is there any like pro-Palestinian voices on your show? Is there? And by the way, at this point, I'm supposed to denounce Tucker Carlson when the brother is saying it's a genocide and we should not fund a genocide, and you want me to cancel him? Hell no is my answer. Hell no. I'd 10,000 times rather cancel Ben Shapiro, but I don't have to cancel Ben Shapiro. I don't have to cancel anyone. I'm not these guys, these goons, these thugs like Jake Tapper and Shapiro. Cancel anyone opposed to Israel. I mean, anti-Semite. Yeah, sure. My ass, it's about anti-Semitism. It's not about that at all. It's about their beloved foreign government. And now everyone knows. So you go ahead and try to bottle it up, but it ain't gonna work. We're sick of funding Israel. They should get $0, not another dollar. They're not even an ally. All they've ever done is gotten us into more and more trouble, and I can't stand it. And neither can the right wing, neither can the middle wing, neither can the left wing. The only people still left defending the grotesqueries of that Israeli government are mainstream media, bought off and loyalists to Israel in media and online and elsewhere in social media. Now, guys, these are facts. They'll say, all these facts are tropes, or all these facts are anti-Semitic. Is Israel paying $7,000 to people making videos, propaganda, Hasbara, here in America? Yes, they definitely are. How many times has Jake Tapper said that? Zero, because this is beloved Israel. Beloved Israel. Jake, why don't you admit it? Or have one person on your show that will effectively push back. It's so ironic, because they're like, Tucker won't push back against Nick Fuentes. And then Jake Tapper has Ben Shapiro on. Ben Shapiro lies about what Tucker Carlson says. Ben Shapiro lies about everything, and it gives just nonstop Israeli propaganda. And Jake Tapper not only doesn't push back, but he says, oh yeah, Ben is right. Oh, Tucker's an anti-Semite. You're all anti-Semites if you oppose Israel. No pushback at all. So you guys can play your BS games, but the rest of the country now hates you. And no, you isn't Jewish people. We love Jewish Americans. They're our brothers and sisters. They're dentists and accountants and plumbers. They're real people. We're not talking about them. We're talking about the pro-Israel radicals that are in the media and politics. And now there's an ocean around you guys. And we're not gonna stand for it anymore. And we're gonna defund Israel. And all of us agree, America over any other country, and yes, including your beloved Israel. Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.